what I wanted to do with you guys is use my buddy Eugene here, who's a physical therapist, a doctor of physical therapy, and he's also a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and so he kind of understands what's going on with the body a lot better than I do, and he's been able to provide me with some help to show me some of the things that I need to do in order to prevent those shoulder injuries. So we're gonna go through and show you guys some strengthening exercises that you can use on your own, at home or at your gym or whatever, and we're just going to be using some of these TheraBands here. You can buy these on Amazon, I'm sure, for next to nothing, not very expensive.
Just a disclaimer, if any exercise you're doing cause you discomfort or pain, just don't do them. If you do a lot of jiu-jitsu, you get into this kind of rounded shoulders, forward head posture. So what happens is a lot of times you get some weakness in the posterior delts, the dorsal scapular, which is like your shoulder blade musculature, and even some rotator cuff weakness as well. So this is just going to be a way, just a couple quick exercises to kind of help rebalance some of those muscles.
All right, first exercise is
just a mid row, just to engage your engage some of the musculature back here. Basically, what you're doing is get a little bit of tension on the band. You're going to pull back. Just pull back, yep, squeeze, hold a few seconds. The important part is the squeeze with the shoulder blades, kind of pinching your shoulder blades together.
And so I kind of have a natural tendency to sort of flex my traps up. Yep. So I want to make sure I keep my traps down.
Exactly right, because that's a compensatory pattern. A lot of people's traps, levator muscles, kind of some muscles up in here in the neck, they really are strong and they overpower, especially in jiu-jitsu when we're kind of balling up like this, so they get really overworked and overused. So this is the first one, just a mid-row. The other important thing that people don't think about is really engaging your core, making sure your belly muscles are tight. You keep a good base for yourself.
As far as like when we did this mid-row, when you say mid-row, are you talking about basically middle?
Yeah, like chest height, kind of middle. You can have like, they're called different things. Like you can have a high row or a low row. I think just to start, it's real basic, just a mid-row. Nothing, keep it about chest height. Simple way just to...
Okay, and then now the pull downs. Like...
The pull down, it's kind of like a lat pull down. I just call it like shoulder extension. Just coming starting here, a little bit of pre-tension on the band. Elbows, I like to keep the elbows straight. Pulling back to just a little bit to the, like maybe past the hips, just a hair. Squeezing and holding, and come back. So I'm gonna have Chewy kind of demonstrate again. So you're gonna step back, get a little bit of pre-tension, so a little bit of tension on the band. And then belly in, stay nice and tall. You'll pull the shoulders, pull the arms back. Good, plenty. Just squeezing the shoulder blades together. Hold for a count of maybe 2 to 3, come back slow and controlled. These are really easy to warm up. It shouldn't be very difficult. As far as repetitions go, I like to do 15 to 20, 2 to 3 sets, but just it's a good way to get your muscles kind of warmed up as well. Doesn't have to be anything heavy, especially if you're gonna go train right after or around that time. And I think it's great to kind of warm up the tissue. So pull that, yep, perfect, just like that. Again, this is kind of good for just some of the lat musculature, just the shoulder blade musculature, just strengthen that up because that, again, tends to be loose and weak, and that's what we want to work on is engaging that.
Cool. And again, typically the dysfunction like you're talking about is pecs too tight, bicep, pec minor, all that stuff just pulled too tight, and then the other parts, because of this, they become weak. And if I may be incorrect when I say this, but typically if let's say that this part is too weak and these muscles are constantly being pulled on, right? That causes the muscles to like lock up, like pull, like because they're trying to constantly pull back.
Yeah, they can't. Well, for me, they get overpowered.
Sure.
And that's the easiest way to put it. Like these muscles are going to get overpowered, so they don't have the strength to keep you in that good position.
Right.
So,
well, what I mean by this is like, so they're getting overpowered. So say sometimes, for instance, like, you know, I remember when I had shoulder issues last year, it was 2015, 2014, she dug into my pec like crazy. And I remember I left that massage. She dug into the shoulder a little bit, but mostly into the pec. I remember I left the massage and I didn't have any pain, you know, because I feel like it had loosened this up. So sometimes, you know, people are having, because I know that there's plenty of guys, including myself at some point, where you've had this pain up in the middle of the back and stuff like that. And I think that maybe that could possibly be alleviated if you're able to get into better posture.
Exactly, yeah, because I think a way to think about it is those muscles are constantly trying to keep up and to keep you in that posture, but they're just getting overpowered. So yeah, maybe they're overworking. I mean, that's the way to think about it. And so what you're doing is, by releasing some of the tissue in the front of the shoulder, you're actually relieving some tension on the back.
And then by doing these exercises to strengthen, you're pulling everything back where it needs to be. Cool. Right, so what's the next exercise?
So just simple stuff, just rotator cuff strengthening. Your rotator cuff muscles, One of them initiates liftoff. There's 4 muscles total that are considered the rotator cuff. One initiates liftoff, and then 2 of them do external rotation, and 1 of them does internal rotation. So just in general, the rotator cuff muscles aren't very big and strong, but they're good stabilizers. They're very integral to proper functioning of your shoulder. So just strengthening them in a couple of different planes is just an easy way to maintain shoulder health and keeping good blood flow and circulation, keep those muscles working.
Okay, so how do we use these?
So we'll just start with the red band. It doesn't have to be anything light. The key here for the rotator cuff, I tell people, elbow at your side to start with. Keep that L shape, like a 90 degree angle at the elbow. And I like to, again, squeeze my shoulder blade back a little bit, and then just going out and in. So you don't have to go very far. A lot of people make the mistake of extending the elbow. Again, you're getting tricep, you're not getting a lot of the rotator cuff. So starting here, you can kind of go towards from your belly or belly button area, just kind of outward, whatever's a comfortable range.
And then to get this deltoid to turn off, you're pinching.
Yeah, the theory is that you can take a towel roll, put it underneath, and when you squeeze, just pinch your arm down to your side. That's supposed to shut off the deltoid muscle and kind of allow the rotator cuff to be activated a little better. So, now Chewy, demonstrate. You can do external rotation first. Yep. Yep, just like that. Some people are limiting their external range of motion, so you just kind of go comfort. You want to make sure keeping that L shape. That's perfect, just like that. Wrist neutral. And then the other one is internal rotation, which again is good to strengthen. It may be pretty strong. Usually tends to be a little stronger than external rotation. Just going in towards your belly. Yep. Again, making sure it's pinched to your side. Your elbows pinched to your side. That's perfect. And yeah, keep the shoulder blade nice and engaged as well. All kinds of stuff to think about.
Okay.
Perfect. So now I like working the rotator cuff in a couple different planes. So just like that. So then I'll raise it up, and I'll do more of a 90 degree angle as far as abducted. So that means my elbow's away from my side, and I try to keep that shoulder back, keep the elbow in this position, and just doing a little bit external rotation, internal rotation. So I'll demonstrate that as well, or Chewy can, go ahead. So right in there, good. And you're gonna stabilize, just going back, perfect. Just kind of keep the wrists at neutral. Just like that, it's perfect. That's just a way to kind of work at a couple different planes. Yeah. And then internal rotation. We're gonna kind of start with the arm out to the side, good. And we're just gonna go in just about to there, perfect. Go to comfort, people have limited range of motion in certain planes. A lot of times people may have more internal rotation just because how they stand and limited external rotation. So just go to your comfort. All right, so another one to work on the rotator cuff and the shoulder blade musculature again is keeping the elbows at your sides. Get a band. You can do this laying down or standing. Elbows pinched, squeezing the shoulder blades, bringing the arms out, back together, and then you can even relax the shoulder blades and engage them, out, back together, and then relax. So okay. Should we go ahead and do those for me a couple times?
Okay, so he is.
Yep, and come out, perfect, and then back together, and then you can relax the shoulders, or you can keep it engaged the whole time. Perfect. Then to build off of that, you can do, it's called a horizontal abduction. So that's another one we'll get to in just a second. So you just kind of squeeze the shoulder blades, perfect. So the horizontal abduction, it's kind of, you work some muscles like the mid-trap muscles in the back, and those are important again to keep your shoulder blade nice and secure and stable. Just pulling across, yeah, just to your chest, perfect. When you're coming back, make sure you get engaged, your shoulder blades, get a good squeeze, just like that. You know, it doesn't have to be very heavy or very difficult.
Sure.
You want to concentrate on slow and controlled motion, just really get those muscles to engage. Okay. And one thing I want to add, the important part of the shoulder blades when you're looking at the shoulder itself is those shoulder blades are kind of they play an important component in stabilizing so that it allows a stable base for the muscles in the shoulder and the rotator cuff to pull from. So I give the example of a crane. So the base of the crane needs to be stable and secure if the arm of the crane is going to pick up heavy object.
Okay.
So if the base of the crane is on rocks or gravel or it's not secured down, it's going to want to tilt or lift. That's going to limit what you can lift and how you can move.
Sure. Okay.
So that's kind of having a stable base as far as shoulder blade muscles being nice and secure. It's going to allow the rotator cuff muscle and the other muscle in the shoulder to function properly.
Cool, makes sense. So guys, those were some simple strengthening exercises. You guys can use those, with your jiu-jitsu training. And again, it doesn't take very long. You can do them just during, if you're going to lift on a day, you can do them before the lift. If you come into jiu-jitsu training, you can do them before your training or even after training. But again, it's one of those things where it definitely helps your posture, and it's helped me a ton from getting this constant like nagging sort of little shoulder injuries. And so I hope that these help you. And again, Eugene, thanks for doing them for me.
Yeah, and just wanted to reiterate, just reps and sets. I mean, 2 to 3 sets is fine, or even 1 set sometimes if you're doing just to warm up the tissue. I like 15 to 20 reps because these aren't really, they're more stabilizing muscles, a lot of them, so you don't have to go really excessively heavy. It's more important to work on your technique and the quality of your motion than the heaviness of the resistance.
Cool. All right, thanks guys.